Hi, my name is Jane Langen, and I'm in the Master's Program for Instructional Technology. The title of my capstone project is Using e-Portfolios to Prepare High School Seniors for the Future. The problem that prompted the development of this project is that although my school has increased its graduation rate over the last several years and approximately 70% of recent graduates enroll in college or post-secondary schools, seniors consistently report feeling unprepared and unsure about their future. Moreover, the 30% of students who do not choose to continue their education may be unprepared to navigate the next steps of adult life, given that only about half of our graduating seniors are actually deemed college and career ready. My school is not alone in its number of graduates not deemed college and career ready. A research project conducted by the U.S. Department of Education, called the National Assessment of Educational Progress, or NAEP, indicates that this is a national issue. The project itself is widely recognized as a better indicator of student preparedness because, unlike state accountability tests, which have shifted over time with the advent of Common Core, results on the NAEP are comparable across decades. In fact, recent pre-pandemic results suggest that there's a substantial disparity between the national graduation rate, just over 80%, and the number of graduates deemed college and career ready. According to measurement expert Andrew Ho, just under 40% of students score at college and career ready levels on NAEP. Unfortunately, it's becoming increasingly apparent that earning a high school diploma is not a signal that a graduate is ready to enter post-secondary education, the military, or the workforce, and that the college and career ready completion rate is much lower than the adjusted cohort graduation rate. Possible solutions to the problem of college and career readiness are confounded by the need for data reporting that is more transparent from state to state, and by the multiple factors associated with definitions of college and career readiness from state to state. However, one aspect of preparedness for the future that can be addressed is the enhancement of soft skills, or 21st century skills, that have been deemed paramount to future success. The World Economic Forum, in the Future of Jobs Report 2020, noted that certain skills such as critical thinking, analysis, and problem solving continue to be at the top of skills valued by employers, but that newly emerging this year are skills in self-management, such as active learning, resilience, stress tolerance, and flexibility. It's for this reason that my solution to the problem of our seniors feeling unprepared for the future was to enhance their soft skills by engaging them in the creation of an e-portfolio or digital portfolio. An e-portfolio is just a collection of work or evidence in an electronic format that showcases learning over time. It's an opportunity to create a snapshot of your best self to share with others. I knew, based on my own experience in KSU's graduate program, that an e-portfolio would help them organize facts that showcase what they have learned, reflect on their goals for their future after high school, and prepare a professional identity or digital networking presence in preparation for their future career path. Before I go any further, I'd like to share some samples that really capture the nature of this project. This is a student homepage. This is a student work samples page of her art. This is a student's robotics. He did a video of the robot to include in his portfolio. This student included samples of culinary expertise. This student included a video that demonstrated the evolution of her artwork. This student did a model of Sugar Hill in Minecraft. This student talked about experiences with coaching and work. This student did a leadership from freshman mentoring to mascot duties and some reflections about each underneath. This student included multiple experiences on a single page, from band to drum corps to robotics, and on down to freshman mentoring. The student even credited the source to Gwinnett County Public Schools for the image. This student capitalized on travel experiences and did some extensive reflection on what she has learned beneath these. The initial step in the development of this project was to research my school's overarching goals for students so that a proposal could be developed which supported the school's plan for improvement. As mentioned, I found that even though our graduation rate has increased, seniors consistently report feeling underprepared. Moreover, the 30% of students who don't choose to continue education sometimes fly under the radar. My own current experience in graduate school of creating an e-portfolio to delineate, connect, and reflect on my own learning experience was the inspiration for the design of a project to help remedy students' preparedness for life after high school, regardless of what path they plan to pursue. College, workforce, military. The standards designed to be met by the e-portfolio were those of Gwinnett County's Academic Knowledge and Skills, or AKS, for 12th grade English Language Arts. The objectives were as follows. 60% of senior ELA teachers would implement e-portfolios with their students. At least 75% of seniors would create an e-portfolio. And at least 75% of those seniors who did create an e-portfolio would indicate an increase in feelings of preparedness for life after high school. Evaluation plan and results. The success of this capstone project was primarily measured through reports from participating teachers and students. Although the opinions of all stakeholders were informally requested during the duration of the project, success of the project was more formally measured through the three primary specified objectives. For the first objective, the two other regular ed teachers were on board, as was the special ed self-contained teacher, and all contributed to the project presentations for the students. For the second objective, if 75% of seniors completed all aspects of the portfolio, it would be a success. In the end, 83% of students did. Finally, for the third objective and the primary goal of the project, teachers administered a survey to all 12th grade students after the completion and grading of the e-portfolio to assess feelings of preparedness. The goal was, if of the seniors who completed all parts of the portfolio, at least 75% would indicate an increase in feelings of preparedness for life after high school. In the end, 87% of students reported an increase in feelings of preparedness by virtue of completing the e-portfolio. My capstone project took place during the fall of the 22-23 school year. Because my proposal involved reaching a majority of the senior class students, I had to gain buy-in from the other senior language arts teachers and ensure a solid coaching relationship early on by establishing trust, clearly explaining the project plan, and later continuing conversation regarding the benefits of the project. Before attempting to garner teacher support for the project, I first had to develop a clear explanation of the project. I opted to show a video explanation created by Auburn University that I found to be succinct and straightforward. I was very pleased by the enthusiasm with which the three other teachers received my proposal, and after some initial brainstorming and identification of necessary tasks, we agreed to go forward with the plan and to use our weekly meetings to develop the lessons that would comprise the ePortfolio project for our seniors. We agreed that I would be the one to create a draft of the initial presentation instructions that we might share with students to begin the project. I did so, and after discussing revisions and additions to the presentation, we agreed on the initial presentation that we would all use. I also created a Google form through which students could submit their ePortfolio links so that all of the teachers could see the progress of the students. Other teachers assisted in the development of additional presentations regarding audience, personal brand, artifacts, reflection, and professional references. As we finalized presentations, there were several things we decided need to be taken care of before launching the project with students. First, in order to ensure that we were all communicating the same expectations for students, we knew we needed to develop rubrics for the various pages of the ePortfolio students would create. I was able to develop the necessary rubrics, and the team agreed to their use. We also decided it would be better, at least for the pilot year, to use the same web platform for students, in this case Google Sites. Because of some concern about the level of technology knowledge needed by students, I also created a template for students to use if they wanted to develop their site. We launched the project at the end of August and were, overall, met with enthusiasm by the students at the prospect of using language arts class to create a project with such real-world applicability, and students began the process of creating their e-portfolios. Right away, as was the initial concern of some teachers, we witnessed a wide range of technological comfort levels of our various students. Because of this, I needed to create resources for some students to bridge this knowledge gap, such as a video explaining how to publish their website properly. Nevertheless, this was a minor setback, and the students' resulting marks for the beginning of the project, their homepage, were inspiring. As we teachers were grading this first page of the e-portfolio, specifically looking at some of the images used by students, we realized the need to review with students the basics of copyright, fair use, and crediting sources. To that end, I created a presentation for all of us to use with students to review these concepts. Additionally, at this meeting, the team thought it might be best to alternate between canonical literature and the e-portfolio project to allow students to work at the most comfortable pace for their varying arrays of technological comfort. From this point forward, each teacher determined at what point in the semester to cover the remaining parts of the e-portfolio, so we were no longer in lockstep formation. My students had their first artifacts and reflection page due at the end of September, the second artifacts page due mid-October, and the third and final artifacts page due mid-November. The benefit of alternating between literary work and the e-portfolio project was that it gave me ample time to grade their work and provide feedback. I was able to provide opportunities for revision as we progressed through the project. In an effort to share the load of providing feedback, as well as to further inspire students, I made a plan to have students peer review their e-portfolios through the discussion platform of our LMS. Conveniently, this allowed for a digital citizenship lesson on empathy. Students shared their e-portfolio link with peers at the end of November for peer feedback. Students already had access to the rubric I would be using to grade their e-portfolio, but I also provided them with a template to use when providing peer feedback that focused on being empathic while providing constructive feedback. Finally, students submitted their revised e-portfolio at the beginning of December as their performance final, 10% of their grade. I further incentivized this final submission by telling students that if the grade on their final project was higher than the grades for any of the component parts, that I would replace those lower grades with the final grade. The results did not disappoint. The final reflection. The overall goal of this project was to help seniors at my high school to feel better prepared for life after graduation through the development of an e-portfolio. Achieving this goal also involved a second goal of coaching other senior ELA teachers on the implementation of e-portfolios with their students. To these ends, the implementation of the project went fairly according to plan. However, there was one major area of the implementation of the Capstone project that deviated from the proposal. The primary deviation was in the timeline. The initial proposal had a planned start date of October of 2021 with a completion date of April of 2022. The reason for the deviation can be attributed to a diagnosis of breast cancer. At the time, I wasn't aware of the severity of the staging, and I actually continued on during the semester with some of the initial plans, specifically with the development of materials and plans for the implementation. Unfortunately, later we realized how far along, and I decided to take a semester off of graduate school. After the end of summer, I returned to the planning of the project. Overall, I was very pleased with the outcome of my Capstone project. The initial proposed activities, objectives, and deliverables were all met. Those who did complete it progressed through the activities without much difficulty. Any issues encountered were fairly easily remedied through the creation of short videos. I was also able to incorporate other topics such as digital citizenship within the project implementation, and the final deliverable of the e-portfolios far exceeded my expectations. Moreover, of the students who did complete an e-portfolio, more than 75% indicated an increase in feelings of preparedness for life after high school. This was clearly a win. These are my references. Thank you very much, and I'll use my last few moments to show a few more examples. This is a student's blueprints. This is a student's page on awards and honors. This is a student's page on theater involvement and what the student has accomplished in time in theater. This is a student's robot and the planning of the robot. This is a student's example of several work samples, from website projects to letter badges to AP Psych, PowerPoint, and